My secret, just do something that ain't nobody ever done before, but make it sound like something that's always been there forever.
This Filipino-American Life is a podcast that explores the nuanced experiences of Filipinos in the United States at iba pa. My name is Elaine, and I'm joined by...
Mike.
Producer Mike. So it is just the two of us, and we are here at the live podcast lounge at Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival. TFAL is a media sponsor for the film festival, and we've been promoting the films on our blog and shorts programs to check out throughout the month. So the film festival was running from April 27th through May 4th. And if you can't join the festival this week, you can also check out the Encore, which is Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival Best of the Fest in OC at CGV Buena Park from Friday, May 5th. So your Cinco de Mayo can be at Buena Park watching these awesome movies through Thursday, May 11th.
So is that a new thing? I don't remember them doing that in past festivals.
It might be because CGV Buena Park is new. I think that one just opened, and from the pictures I've seen, it looks super swanky.
And how are they going to figure out what the best films are?
That's a good question. I don't know. We should...
I should preface this by saying that Elaine used to be a programmer for the festival for the last couple years, and so maybe I'm just testing her knowledge of past programming, protocol.
Yeah, and our guest just came in, and I'm going to let her get her breath because Los Angeles traffic is terrible.
Especially when you're coming from the Valley.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry.
Yeah.
Our actor is also coming from the Valley, so...
Oh, that's a bummer.
Valley, #Valley problems.
Yeah, #818 for life, because our other co-host, Joe Bernardo, is also a Valley person, so we love the Valley.
Yeah, they might love the Valley.
Oxnard. Mike's from Oxnard, so he doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
But, so our guest today, would you like to introduce yourself?
No, I would love you to introduce me.
Talk about letting her catch her breath.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. Catch your breath. Catch your breath. It's director Marie Jamora. So we actually talked about Marie in the TV episode when we mentioned that you had a short in the film festival, Flip the Record, which we're here to talk about. We also talked about your film that was here at the festival 2 years ago.
It was in 2013.
Oh,
so
it's like 4 years ago? Oh my gosh.
I had a script at this festival in 2015, and then my feature in 2013.
Oh.
Sorry, 2014. Sorry, it's a blur, but
yeah.
I love this festival. That's the bottom line.
And I finally picked up the DVD for it at Record Store Day this past weekend.
At Amoeba. For $5.
Yes. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't even know how it got to Amoeba because we're self-distributed, and it's awesome that they're selling it, but I just don't know how they got it.
You know what? Someone might have bought it and then sold it.
Oh,
or you might have a secret fan over at Amoeba,
who bought it and was like, "This needs to be in the stacks."
Or be like, "I've spent too much money and I need a little bit of money back. And
like, what is
can
this
you
film?
Please sell this for me?
$5.
I want to get at least 50% back."
They're like, "We need some credit because we want to buy more records at Amoeba."
But it is actually a dream. Like when I saw that picture, I was just like, "Oh my God!" Because many years ago, when I had a band called Bold Star, I brought it to Amoeba in San Francisco, and I was like, "Can you sell my band?" They saw me like with a stack of and they're like, "Nope, we're not selling your thing, no." And I was like, "But I'm a band in the Philippines. We won an award."
They wouldn't do it?
No, they're like, "No, we don't want your little band from the Philippines. Like, just take those away." And then I was like, Amoeba hates me. So getting to have Sneaky be in Amoeba through my film
you found your way one way or another.
Yeah, exactly. Years and years later.
By hook or by crook, you're going to get into Amoeba. So who knows how that got there? But
yes. So I don't care if it's $5. I'm very happy that it's in Amoeba.
I was too, and I was happy Mike picked it up.
I know.
We were big fans of the film. I remember when it was out here, you had vinyl pressed, and we bought because the soundtrack.
And just remind the audience,
what
was the name of that film?
What isn't there?
Yeah, see?
Ang nawawala. That's
there you go. She said it. He's saying that because the last time we were promoting it, I added another wah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. It's like Rick and Morty. I did that. So Yeah, so we were just going to talk about one of the questions we had for each other was, what have you enjoyed from the festival so far? I know it's 3 days in, so it's day 3.
Okay, so I actually really loved seeing the 35 millimeter print of Better Luck Tomorrow on the opening night. I had seen it on DVD or probably even VHS when I was first in film school in Columbia University in New York in like 2003.
Wow.
And then so getting to see it in the big screen, 35, like you just I miss the quality of 35 millimeter. It's just so,
There's something tangible, right?
Very tangible and it made the movie more visceral. And I loved how dark it was and having the Q&A afterwards. I think that, for me, that was my favorite part so far because I think it's such a seminal, important film, and I haven't seen anything quite like it since. And I think that, I mean, of course, Justin Lin has done amazing things.
He's moved on to bigger and better things.
But I just think that movie is, to be a second film that someone made. It's just kind of. And I'm so envious because that's like an amazing second film to make, you know.
I mean, what was interesting for us at the time too when it came out was that we were in college in Orange County, which is the setting of the film.
And we're Filipino-American.
And we're Filipino, and then
the character, the
Harry supposed to be Filipino.
Supposed to be Filipino.
But then when it was coming out, and we were obviously recruited by different folks to kind of help promote the movie because it was kind of like who's going to watch this film, who's the audience for this film, and so they brought us to visual communications. We got to see some cuts of it. We had all these posters and pins, which I still have.
So they
sitting
were
around some of the house,
focus grouping you guys.
We were they recruited us to be part of the street team. So we were supposed to go out to our peers and be like, "Hey, do you want to check out this film?" And the whole campaign was opening weekend, because it was back in the day where opening weekend really mattered. I mean, it still does, but especially for an indie film, like you just needed to flood the street, the theaters. It was like we had to encourage. So it was like we were in college, and we were in student groups. So it was like, hey, let's all bring Kababayan.
Yeah, Elaine was in Kababayan, I was in APSA, Asian Pacific Student Association. So
awesome.
we were linked into.
So that's like 40 seats right there. If we made it an after event for.
And I think there was a screening on campus too at some point.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I'm just curious. I'm asking you the questions. It's like, so what was the feeling when you saw it, like for the first time? Because there was nothing like it before.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was already pitched to us initially as like this is like an all Asian American cast. It's a story that you wouldn't otherwise see told. And it was during this time when it was like what is the story that is to be told? Because I think I had kind of gotten like a peek into maybe like Asian American film at that point, but not really kind of understood. Really what was being conveyed that was distinct and different, and even still trying to figure out how does like Filipino-American stories fit in with all of that too.
Yeah.
But I think like it was just the sheer idea of it, and a lot of us were involved in Asian American organizations and all about kind of Asian American empowerment, and really just trying to kind of get our faces kind of visible in the mainstream in some way that felt really important to us. And so knowing that this could be one of our chances, and over the years as we've grown older, there's been a lot of chances, quote unquote, for us to kind of be seen. At least at the time, it was just so different. That it was
I think
just,
for me
exciting.
too, I was a film studies and an Asian American studies major, and so that film, I was like, oh my God, it's both of the things I study in college and what I'm doing right now. And it was kind of like, look, Mom and Dad, this is a justification. This one film is a justification of my 5 years at Irvine, because it was like these stories matter, and that was one of the things that I think I took away was like it took so long for our story to be to the big screen, and so to see just like these teenagers who, well, they weren't teenagers, but
But they were like living regular lives with all the drama that comes with that. I mean, I think it was the first time I realized, we don't have to have this exceptionalism when we're talking about Asian Americans in media. Like, they're going through these tribulations, they're like committing crimes, and that was just
they're
like
normal kids.
There was a shock value to it, but that was also kind of like why can't we tell that story?
And it was funny because it was a shock value because people were thinking like, oh my gosh, like why are you saying that these kids are like this? And for me, it was like, well, because I know kids like that.
Yes.
Like I know kids that used to do these things, and
from the outside they look like angels. They have like perfect grades,
I knew all
and then
these
they do these things.
And then they were like secret monsters. Or
I know
having
kids
fun.
like
I know that, like
robbing the fries store.
So it's kind of like it's normal to us, but it's not normal to mainstream America or mainstream media, and that film brought that out there. So I think So it's been how many years? It's
15 years. It's a 15
So
We were like
that story still resonates.
22 years old when it came out.
And here's the thing, like, even though they did that and it was so groundbreaking, it still hasn't, like, it's paved the way for more stories, but it's still not a norm here.
Yeah.
So it's still, a lot of work is still needs to be done to have more of these stories out. And it's good to have this released now, because I think it's more important now than ever.
So was that part of your mindset too when you came out with What Isn't There? I guess not having a full context for what was happening in Philippine cinema at the time, or the stories that were being told versus the stories that you wanted to tell. How does that fit into kind of your approach to that film and the short film that you have screening this weekend?
So my mindset with What Isn't There was always to tell a story that, it was a story I had been working on for around 9 years. So it was really a baby that needed to be born and pushed out into the world.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about the audience. I knew that I wanted to make a film that featured the upper middle class, and with them talking like how me and my friends talked.
Yeah.
And featuring the music scene that I love and I grew up in. I got a lot of backlash in the Philippines. Like
Why?
Some professors from the University of the Philippines, they felt that it was it featured the bourgeois, but there wasn't a high stakes that happened to the rich people that warranted the story to be important.
Our actor, Michael Rosete, and I just showed up, so...
Yeah, why don't you introduce yourselves?
My name's Jason McLagan. I was the producer of Flip the Record. I also helped with the production design, among a lot of different things, wore a lot of different hats, like most of us in the production.
Got it.
And my name is Michael Rosete. I played Rome, the older brother.
Older brother. Just like this Mike, who is an older brother. There's two mics right now. It's going to be confusing.
Two mics in front of four microphones.
Yeah, with a sibling that also DJs, but we have differences of opinion about that.
So producer Mike is a DJ, so this film resonates to him, and it resonates to me because I live in a mess of records. So
Well, yeah, let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
I mean, we were watching it again this morning.
So the film is Flip the Record. We watched it this morning because I couldn't make it yesterday, but I was just like, oh, okay, you need to watch it before. And it was, I gotta say, I loved the feel of the film. I remember when you did the call out for set pieces that had to look like 80s, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? I want to know what it is. And then to see it, I'm like, they did it. They pulled it off. I totally was like, it feels very 80s in that.
So Elaine's talking about on Facebook, I would just put up status messages saying like, I'm looking for a 1980s car. Guys, does anyone have a car that looks like this? Or
Does anybody have 1980s, like,
Lamps?
T12s? Or, like, we were really spent a lot of time looking for the turntables to be period specific.
yeah, and lamps and all these things.
That's actually how we casted, too. Like, I would say 80% of our cast was found through, like, Facebook call-outs.
Michael was found through Facebook.
Were you really?
Yeah,
How did that happen?
I had a common friend who knew Marie from Slam Dance, and she just posted on her status. I think she just tagged me actually.
Yeah,
I think
she tagged you.
me
Margaret Little.
Ying Little, yeah,
Oh.
she that I knew from New York. And she just tagged me, and I looked Marie up and just sent my stuff on Facebook.
That's awesome. So are you based in LA?
I was in New York for about 11 years, and then I just moved here, removed here about a year ago. Yeah.
So how did it feel to be in a film that's obviously about the 80s, and we're not in the 80s? Like, what did you pull from? Was that a scene that you could recall? Or do you have older siblings? Or how did that work?
No, for me, it was, I think a lot of it was based on, or they're working on a documentary called Legions of Boom, so I tried to read as much as I could. I wasn't able to...
Like Oliver Wang's book.
Yes.
Oliver Wang's book. And just... Look, I mean, thank God for YouTube nowadays.
True.
I mean, doing this maybe like 30 years ago or something, you'd had to maybe, search out for
You'd be driving from like house to house, knocking on Filipino families' doors.
Asking for stories, which, I tried to do, but because of the limited time frame, I mean, a lot was just reading online. And my brother's a DJ, and
There's always someone.
There's always right.
There's always one. Yeah.
There's always at least one.
He auditioned too.
Yeah.
And
We saw Steve's audition tape.
Yeah, I said, dude, you gotta audition for this. They're looking for a young DJ, Filipino kid, and he actually does this. So I was like, but he's in New York.
You want to shout him out? What's his DJ name in New York?
His DJ name is DJ Dirty Steve.
Nice. It's very New York.
With 3 E's.
Steve.
DJ Dirty Steve.
What's up, DJ Steve?
Sure, appreciate that.
Yeah, and it was just a lot of researching as much as I could, and ideally I would have been able to speak with some folks, but and I'm a product of '90s hip hop, so I know enough of '80s hip hop because of the history.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as foreign to me. It was just a different time frame, but the whole concept was for it. I didn't know about the mobile DJ unit. Everybody knows who Qbert is, but nobody knows, or not many
at the
people
end of the
know.
film too, there was like that archival footage. And is that going to be in that documentary that you're talking about, or is that just something that you felt like throwing in there as a little Easter egg? Or
I think it will make the documentary because we do plan on featuring the LA scene as well, and interviewing the beat junkies and everything like that. And this archival footage was really special because it was taken by San Francisco crews, but it featured LA crews too, because Symphony was in it. So
I think it was from a showcase where some LA people had gone up to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh, so fascinating.
So that was Symphony, yeah.
Because we got this footage from MC Lanny Love, who is Melanie Kong, and they're based in San Francisco.
Got it.
So did any of that inform, I guess, the style and the feel of the film, or the actors and the kind of their cues and that? Did they get a chance to see the archival footage?
I think, had we filmed in like a really compressed amount of time.
Yeah, it was like a weekend, right?
Well, yeah, we
Really?
filmed over 2 days, and the whole thing from script to final post-production was 6 weeks. So, and it was because we came back from Manila, found out about this HBO project in like early September.
HBO contest.
I'm sorry, the contest. And then, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Basically, we found out about it, and in 6 weeks there was a deadline. So we were like, let's just make something. And what we had really familiarized ourselves with was this mobile scene, as we've been doing all this research and shooting for the documentary over the past 2 years. So I think much like Mike, having done a lot of research in a short amount of time, if we'd had more time with the actors, it would have been great to show them some of this archival stuff. But it all exists, and
The performances are great, though. I mean, you can it feels like, I mean, it's a period piece, but it's weird to say period piece in the 80s.
But it is. I mean,
But it is.
That's so much. That's 30
Yeah.
plus years
It's
ago.
even weirder to start thinking, like, you see stuff that's like early 2000s, and you're like, wow, that looks
Right.
period.
Yeah, I know.
and
That's traumatizing.
yeah,
like 90s or whatever. But I mean, for me, like Spintronics has a documentary online. That thing is kind of where I got a lot of my ideas and stuff. It's just it was like a 20-minute documentary, which is very informative and inspiring.
They celebrated their 30th anniversary, so that's why they had a documentary online.
okay.
You found that on your own?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You were just researching.
I was just trying to
Mike
Google.
is an amazing method actor. It's like he had to learn how to be a DJ.
Did
in
you
one
learn how to
day.
scratch in one day?
That it was fun. I had a couple days.
Did your brother help you, or did
No,
somebody
because
else?
he's on the East
Oh,
Coast.
okay. So who helped you?
So it was just a matter of Matt King Smith, the producer. He has
Okay.
a set of turntables. So I called him up. I said, hey,
Make it look like I know what
Marie and
I'm
Jason,
doing.
And I was like, yeah, I need to figure this out somehow.
I did like the Easter egg of showing of Icy Ice sitting in the driveway. I was
Glad
like,
you noticed.
I was-
Spoiler alert.
Oh, spoiler alert! But like I was watching it and I'm like, oh hey, look, it's Icy Ice right there. Oh, that's a nice way to include him in that.
So funny enough, the real Easter egg of that, like, I'm great. I'm glad you recognize Icy Ice, but his name in the film, in the credits, is Icy Ice as Tito Benji, and
Oh my
Tito
God.
Benji was the homeowner, Marie's
the house?
uncle, who owned the house which garage we filmed in.
That's
so That's
awesome.
why that was like our homage to Tito
And also,
Benji too.
because
That's awesome.
I asked my uncle and my aunt if I could shoot in their house, and then we said, "Can we shoot in your garage?" And then we started cleaning up their garage. Then we found out that there was a disco ball and then lights and then a dance floor. We're
Wow,
like, why do
it's
you have
all there.
this stuff? And then we're like, and Tito Benji's like, oh, because I'm a DJ. And I'm like, what? Tito Benji? You've never
always
told
one.
me.
How did we
never
not know?
told me.
Like,
So
that
that's
was
our
incredible.
homage to Tito Benji.
And also,
Oh my
like, a
God.
huge shout out to Matt Keen Smith and Tito Benji, because without those two, we would have never achieved the look that we got in the
You
film.
got it.
Like, yeah, and I mean, literally, their house was like a time capsule. I mean, they're
As are most Filipino-American homes.
Yes.
Hermetically sealed in
They're
plastic,
permanently going to look like how they were when they bought them, or at the peak of like, this is how I want my house.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We
I'm sure the
walked
couch
in-
you had to peel like a blanket or some plastic off of it.
Yep. It was like they bought the house in '77, they renovated in '82, and
And it's
nothing changed.
stuck.
Like, I mean, they
Wow.
still
Something
had,
Like the plates.
They still have,
even like the
like-
plates and
Do
the
they have
silverware.
Corel
The
or
plateware.
Corvel, whatever?
Yes.
The old.
So was it on location in Daly City? Like that's where their house is, or where was it?
No, so they actually live in Highland Park. Because and what's great is that the Daly City footage that you see is B-roll from our documentary
Okay.
shoots.
Oh, nice.
So we've been shooting that, Jason and I. But what's lovely about their house is in Highland Park. So we just. I mean, everybody can tell. Like, it's really funny. The people who actually grew up in San Francisco, when they see the driveway scene at the end, they go,
Not right.
"That's not Daly City."
There's no. I knew it too,
Yeah.
and I'm not from Daly City, but I was like, "There's too many trees, and
Yeah.
there's not enough houses next to each other."
Exactly.
So then when you said Highland Park, I'm like,
Yeah, and then I know, like, people are like, that's not. I'm like, I know it's not. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I had more time, if I had more time or money, we would have shot that
Yeah.
there. But that's what
The
happened.
driveway would have been like at a 95-degree angle.
It would have been like really, like, it would have been like sloping. It would
Only
have been
one
tighter.
car would be able to fit.
Really funny enough for that shot too, we were really strategic on the day, because we're like, we know we have to have an exterior shot of the car pulling away. So we had all of the crew, like, anytime a spot opened up in next to the house, like in front of the driveway, we'd have someone pull in, so that way when it came time to shoot it, we could pull all the cars away
Got
and
it.
not like spoil the period specificity.
Yeah.
Like,
Because like a 2004 Honda Civic
right.
Yes.
Would have spoiled it.
There is an Easter egg though, because if you look at that shot, there's like some recycling bins somewhere in the background,
Very
which
modern
really
look.
break my heart. But somebody has offered me to like
wipe it
out.
like in
like,
post.
Yeah, because no one cared about recycling in the 80s.
I know. I'm like,
I mean, they did,
But
but
they
you know,
didn't,
it was like in your own trash can. Then you grabbed it and you took it to the recycling machine to get the money.
I would have I was telling somebody on set, I'm like, can someone move those neighbors' recycling bins? And they were like, is that trespassing? Can I do that? And so we did.
You're like, maybe not.
But I mean, the attention to detail otherwise, I mean, you had the Betacam camcorder and you had
Yeah.
like those records. And I was actually curious about the records that you use, that Van, the main character, uses to practice with. I mean, they're Filipino records, like clearly. I mean, there's like Ugat and
I love
Sunshine.
that.
And
That was
there's like
such a
Valar and
great
the other kind
inclusion.
of classic Filipino labels. I mean, what was your thought behind using that? I mean, was that
Also,
actually part
how
of that
did you get
scene?
permission to use them?
Okay.
or is it like
Cut.
it's a
It's indie. It's indie. It's okay.
indie
right?
film? It's an indie film.
Fair use. There's fair use there.
It's less than 3 seconds, so it's fine, right?
Is that the rule? I don't even.
So I would really like to thank Christine Balance and Joel Kizon, because they are the ones, and a few records from Matthew Keen Smith, our producer, because all of my Filipino records are in the Philippines.
Got it.
And I was looking for these OPM records because I knew that the style of Vanessa, I wanted her to use her parents' Filipino records and mash them up with more current records. So luckily, Christine sourced Joel's records, and then on set, they just brought crates and crates. And then on set, I would just be like, this one, this one, this one. And then we just put it in a particular box. And then Matt Keen Smith, who he's our producer, and the story wouldn't, anyway, he's been integral to the process from the beginning. His wife is Filipino, so he has an inherent love for Filipino music too. So even like, I think the week before the shoot, he went digging and he found a few more records for us in the shoot.
Oh, wow.
So he's just amazing. And so, regarding Villar, I think in Ang Nawawala we showed a few Villar records too. So I'm like, if I'm just gonna be in the shit with Villar, I'll just be in the shit. So like a really big, like it's just like I'm a big fan and I just want to show all
I
the
mean,
records.
it's homage. It was in one piece, it is in another.
And
that
with-
could be your thing. That
That
could
It's like
be
to be a Villar
that
record
could-
in everything
yeah,
you do.
that
It's
could be
true.
your
It's my little,
what's it like an Edgar Wright does the ice cream.
That's
The
true.
Cornetto trilogy.
Cornell
Yeah.
trilogy.
It
You
could be
could
that,
always
definitely.
have a record.
Definitely, I think that might be it. And then
In Legion of Boom, you should put one in the background.
definitely, really. Just like a close up. And then with Tito Vic and Joey, I think I worked with them when I directed for Eat Bulaga like a couple years ago, and with Gary Valenciano, I did a music video for him. So I was thinking, worst comes to worst, I'll just give him a call and be like, dude, can I mean, I'm a big fan of yours, man. I made videos for you.
Groveling always works.
Right?
We got permission to use the Warriors image from Paramount for free.
I was curious. I was wondering.
That's cool, yeah.
We basically just emailed people and just went up the chain, and Matt really kind of spearheaded that with them. But they were just like we just had to explain the usage, and they were like, yeah, sure, here's like a waiver license basically.
That's awesome because I love that DIY aspect to it because that was like a key element of the scene to begin with, right? Like the whole concept of a mobile DJ is like, it's like peak DIY for like the 80s because who would have thought that back then?
So let's do a rundown of all the characters in the short. So there's obviously Vanessa, as the main character. Who else? And we have Mike here as the older brother. What was your name in the film again?
Rome.
Roman. Okay. And then there was the two other boys that were like cousins, right? And then the parents. And so were they inspired by anyone in particular? Were you trying to tell a specific story with them? Or was it kind of like, I mean, are you Vanessa? Because,
or DJ Vando
as the filmmaker slash record collector, record spinner.
Similar.
She's sort of an amalgamation of all the amazing women who we've interviewed on the scene. So there's a little bit of Lani Love in there. There's a little bit of there's obviously like a little bit of Symphony in there. There's a lot of me in there because I was bullied by my brother who was a mobile DJ in the 80s. Because it's really weird because I tell this to the people I met who are DJs. Not a lot of people know that the mobile DJ scene went into Manila and was a big thing in Manila as well. I think that it was so successful in the U.S. that somebody brought it back to Manila, and so my brother was in high school. He would be DJing also, and then I would just watch him do that stuff. But he was, he would bully me and stuff.
Be like, get out of my room.
Yeah, no, and I'd be like, fuck you. And he's 13 years older than me. So when he was 18, I was just like 5. So it was a very big.
So it sounds like what you do to your brother.
I guess. Although he has better records than me, so I should really be rating his crates.
We'll steal them one day, I guess.
And then of course with the brother, I wanted it to be 2 siblings. The parents are very important because in interviewing for the documentary, people talk about their families and just having those key figures are important. I wanted one of the best friends in the crew to be a cousin. So the one who was more nurturing to Van was the cousin, and the others were just like friends from school. And then the crew was supposed to be bigger too, but our producer's like, that's too many actors, Marie. You gotta kill one of these actors.
That was a lot already, yeah.
You're like, how many pizzas am I gonna have to buy?
Exactly.
Like, how many outfits do we have to get per actor?
It was more like we had I think a 16-page script in like the 5th draft, and then Matt was like, we got to get this thing down.
13
so
pages.
it got to be like 12 pages, and then you added like 3 more. So we ended up shooting like a 15-page script in 2 days, which was kind of.
That's bananas.
It was, yeah.
I'm just trying to think of all the setups in like 15 pages.
It was crazy.
So is that something that you had done before, Mike, in your acting career? Have you done like kind of projects this quick in like span of 2 days with like a really tight kind of budget script, schedule?
Yeah. I mean, they're all indie shorts, feel this way where there's never enough time. I guess every project would feel that way to a certain extent, but yeah, it's I've worked on quite a few things that the time period was really constrained, and it's just kind of part of the deal.
I mean, how much time did you guys get to prep for everything? I mean, you had 2 days to shoot, but I mean, what was in the lead up? What was that like?
We just had 1 day for callbacks, really, and then Mike didn't even audition with Courtney, who ended up being Vanessa. We had people would do self tapes, and that's how we saw Mike for the first time, and that's how we called him back. We knew we wanted to work with him, and then we had we started grouping friends together, grouping siblings, seeing like who would work as like parents, kids, and stuff, and then when we had people come in to fit clothes, I would schedule them kind of overlapping so they would meet each other and sort of have at least know each other as friends. So Mike wore clothes the same time as JD Charisma, who plays Mario, who's one of the other crew members. And then basically on set while they were waiting, they were just, the actors are such pros that I'm running around like a headless chicken on set. And they, as a family, are just like rehearsing together. I just saw them at the dining room scene, just working it out. Like they're saying, okay, I'm going to give you the rice at this moment when you do this and then this line.
Oh, so you all did blocking while she was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, we were just running it, and then things were, I mean, because that one did some coordination, the music of the food or whatever would be nice to incorporate. So we just started, I think Ogla just wanted to run lines, and then all of a sudden it just started organically, like we were handing each other
And that
things
scene, was that prayer part written in? Or
Yes.
Yeah,
It was,
okay.
right? Yeah, it was. It was.
Because it felt like a throwaway in my head, but I was like, no, but that's really what like family dinner is. You pray
And actually, there actually is a prayer. Like I just didn't use it in the film, but Derek Basco, who plays the dad, he always has a prayer in the beginning of the scene, and then I just start the scene at the end of it. But I wanted it to have that organic feeling of they did pray. The two siblings are kind of seething at each other at that moment, and it was.
I did too. You're right. There is like a music. There is like a block, like to passing the rice, passing the actual dish. Like that's something.
Yeah. It's fun to play with. I mean, somebody like Denzel Washington, if you watch him like an American Gangster, he's like doing this scene where he's making coffee while he's giving this speech, and it's fucking music.
Yeah.
It's
there's a rhythm to it.
And actually, funny enough, that was you with the flying saucer sandwiches. I remember specifically you really finessing the blocking of that. And we had a fantastic AD to Andy Rattinger, who's a friend of Marie's from New York. And but I just remember you working with Andy and like really figuring out the blocking of that scene and how it was going to work, because it was like taking too much time for you to go from the counter to the fridge back to the counter, and it just wasn't. And so I can.
Yeah, it's just finding it.
As an actor, that's something you are constantly thinking about.
Yeah, it's amazing. The hardest things to pull off, I think, in any like film,
seems so
it's just the most
easy
things that
shit.
seem natural, right?
Yeah.
Like to make things just feel natural. I mean, like I guess it'd be the kind of the uncanny valley version of like a live kind of thing. It's like you can just see right away that there is nothing natural about the way they're interacting. But I mean, I think you guys found a rhythm that I think makes it feel like you totally are Van's brother, and totally are trying to tell her like this is your place and this is my place, but let's find a middle ground somehow.
And one thing I want to mention also is that coming from, this is my first shoot in the United States since, I think, film school.
Wow.
And so in the Philippines, not a lot of people know this, but you can shoot for 30 hours. Like, that's,
So you're saying there's no labor laws?
No, there's no unions and labor laws, and I'm not saying I'm an
good
asshole
day
because
is 30 hours.
So having a 12-hour day, which is a very strict 12 hours, was a very huge wake-up call for me, because I usually have a shot list of like 5 pages or whatever.
What?
I'm like so ambitious. I'm like,
For one day?
For one day, I have like 5 pages. I'm like, I can do all these
But that's
shots.
not unrealistic in the Philippines.
I can actually
that's-
do it in the
that's a
Philippines.
Because 30 hours in a 24-hour day is something you can do.
And then people, they know me as being like, my collaborators in the Philippines, they know that I'm meticulous and ambitious, so they're like, oh yeah, it's Marie, we're gonna have a long day. Like, it's gonna look great, but it's gonna be a long day. And so when I told my friends in the Philippines, I'm like, I had to shoot for 12 hours. And they were like, ha ha. Everyone's like laughing. But like, I am like, kudos to the crew, because for the short amount of time, and for me feeling like, oh my God, I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
You feel like I felt like I had 4 days of shooting.
A lot of that comes from your preparation, though. Like you really are meticulous in terms of like designing stuff specifically beforehand. Like, I mean, the lookbooks Marie had for this film, it's a short, and we only had a very small amount of time and small amount of funds to do it. But like Marie made like lookbooks for the production design, for the costuming, like that were like 12, 15, 20 pages long for each of those.
You can tell it comes out in the attention to detail, like in Van's, like her uniform. I was like, Catholic school uniform, check. I had that too. And then when she wore like the 80s, like her outfit to go DJ, I was like, oh my God, there's shoulder pads in that sweater. And then I was like, that's a lace in the front. I was like, yes, that's the best sweater.
I really have to give credit to Holly Payne, who's the costumer, because we had like no money. And what we did was, and Holly is so busy because she's actually a producer for a show that's going to come out. So what we did was we just had, okay, we're going to go thrifting this afternoon. We went all over the valley for like maybe like 3 hours with like a budget of like $300.
Wow.
And then we just she grew up in San Francisco also, and she would be like, yes, this shirt, and she would just throw things, and she'd be like, Dad, this is Mario, this is Rome, and then we just threw it into this like shopping cart, and then she couldn't be there at the fitting, so every time I would fit costumes on the actors, I would put things together, and we would send it to her, me and Butch, the wardrober. She'd be like, no, yes, that shirt, not those pants. Oh, and it was just like, I think it was a great collaboration. She grew up in that time, so she knew all the
What
hair.
it should look like.
She knew what like makeup accessories.
The hair wasn't high enough. I gotta say.
She said
She
when
said
she
that,
saw the
yeah.
film, she was like, the hair's not high enough.
That was the takeaway.
We couldn't afford more hairspray.
I'm like, you can't afford that much Aquanet.
I don't think they make that much Aquanet anymore, right? No, ozone depleting Aquanet bottles, you know?
But
Yeah,
I think in lieu of rehearsal time, though, the fitting really helped. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, Marie, that was a chance for you to really talk with each one of the actors individually and really prep them for the role, too. So
Yes, I had Olga, who plays the mom, and Derek, the dad, fit around the same time.
Oh, so that's good, so they can get that vibe.
So yeah, they started talking to each other, and then it was funny because they have to like dress up kind of in front of each other, and it was nice because I would ask them, do you have any questions for me about the characters, and they would just get it all out at that moment because on set it just go.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. It was really
Because you packed 30 hours in a 12-hour day, so we understand. So you mentioned that you're working on the documentary that is in this vein, right? So is this something that you'll tag at the end as like a DVD special or something like that? Because that would be kind of
Yeah, what are the future plans for this overall, I guess?
I mean,
you want me to talk about that?
But you can talk about it, Jason. Why don't you go ahead? Why don't you go talk about it?
Well, I mean, obviously, we're really proud of the film. We're gonna try and push it as far as we can in the festival circuit. Hopefully, we get it, online somewhere that's got some clout. And I know the last short that Michael was in is now still on Hulu, almost 2 years after.
Oh, what's the name of the short?
Yeah. Hype Beast. It was in the NBC Short Film Festival 2014.
Wow.
And as one of the finalists, one of the deals was that it would be on Hulu. I didn't know how long, but it's still there. Yeah. I mean,
And Filipino director Jestela Merced, right?
Oh, okay. We'll get the info from you, and we'll post it when we post the episodes.
Yeah, it's a dope movie. It's awesome, and Michael was great in it. And something like that would be awesome for this short. And I don't know. We've always dreamed of telling more of this story. Like, I feel like, to use a Filipino word, it's like a little bitin at the end.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like there's it feels like it could go on more. And
because when it ended, I was like, so are we gonna get to see
you want more.
showcase?
I think
are we
that's
gonna?
a testament to the characters that all the actors developed and the nuance and detail that Marie created with the script and the design. So all of that kind of built this world that you kind of want more flavor from, or not more flavor, but you just want to taste more.
Yeah, because in my head, I was like, what if you did like a mashup, like you did the characters from this film meet. They're like the older generation from the characters of the debut, and then they come together, and then it's just like an explosion of Filipino-American
Trying to create like the Jamora verse or something.
Yeah.
We need to get you in the writer's room.
Oh, sure.
That's a great idea.
So, Jason, I don't think you mentioned, but we do want this to be. This is almost like a proof of concept for. My dream is to have this as like a series,
Oh my God.
So that I want an amazing Filipino-American ensemble with amazing kick-ass music, and just have that. This is our proof of concept for it.
So I'm laughing right now because an episode that we did it's 10.5. It's called TV Party, and we actually said we pitched each other. What would your Filipino-American TV show look like? And we have a video of it, and there's a mention of it where well, there's a DJ.
There's a dance crew.
There's a dance crew.
Check.
And then the whole thing was instead of if it was Saved by the Bell, instead of Max's, it's Max's Chicken. So we're like, so if this is a TV show, I have an episode to pitch to you in a under
Please
2 minute
don't do
video, and it's hilarious because it's us being idiots talking about an imaginary TV show.
Maybe Max's will come in as a sponsor. That sounds like
Right?
I think I might know those people.
that sounds like a partnership made in heaven. We can all just eat chicken.
You don't get paid in dollars; you get paid in chicken.
I'm
all
okay with
day.
that.
okay with
I'm
that.
actually okay.
Catering adds up.
Exactly.
Extra gravy.
They'll pay you in halo halo and buko pandan and leche.
Don't forget the bread, like the caramel bars at the end, like.
Yeah. They don't really do that in Glendale, though.
No, they don't do the caramel.
You got to go over there and complain. It's like, this is
Yeah, maybe you
Texas.
should.
Maybe they hide it just for the people who know.
It's like a secret.
It's like, oh, you're from the Philippines.
Because I've gotten that once or twice, but the last time we were there. I don't think we got it. Anything right now.
If you're listening, Max's Chicken, you got to get up on your game.
If you're
At least the
listening,
Glendale one
Max's
does.
Chicken, if you want to sponsor This Filipino-American Life, you can find us at thisfilipino-americanlife@gmail.com.
So, we're coming up on our time, and so what I wanted to hear from all of you is, what is kind of the next step? You already talked about, bring this into kind of a larger platform, a larger set of maybe shorts. You're also working on the documentary. What else are you working on right now, Marie?
What else am I working on?
Everything.
What aren't you working on?
So, Marie,
No, go ahead, Jason. I'm
Marie and I,
thinking.
we have a production company together, and right now we're producing a series of animated videos for Lego. So they're one of our clients. So we do like a YouTube series for Lego. So we're doing some episodes for that right now.
The Build Zone.
And we're also,
Is it already out right now?
Yeah,
We've done like 3 seasons. It's on the official Lego YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
And then watch the Build Zone. The new season's gonna come out. It's season 5 that's gonna come out right now.
Okay.
We have episodes with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, cool. We'll
and stuff
tag
like
it
that.
on the
Star
blog
Wars.
post
Star
when we
Wars.
put it.
And then
Yeah.
we're producing a series of videos with Planned Parenthood, actually with Gary Gabison, who's a
Oh, nice. Yes. Digital Histories instructor.
yes.
And former TFAL guest as
And
well.
former TFAL guest.
Awesome. Yeah, we love Gary.
So those are some of our commercial things going on, and really just
And working on these projects.
yeah,
Like,
grant
it's-
writing was
Oh,
spending a
man.
lot of
Trying to
time
raise
grant
money
writing,
for the doc.
and yeah.
I don't know what that's like yet. I'll get there eventually. Isil and I will get there when we need money to fund short flags.
And Michael, what are you
Yeah, what
working
do
on?
you?
Yeah, I'm just back to being an actor, auditioning, and
So you're out here now, like permanently, or
You're
what's the
like
deal with that?
underselling yourself. You're a writer too.
I'm writing I have a co-writer, and we're trying to write a feature. We're also trying to write a.
Is it
TV
about a
pilot.
DJ and a dance group
At Max's Chicken.
at a Max's Chicken?
No,
Don't
Max's
steal that
Chicken.
idea.
I know,
We
exactly.
already got that.
Well, I have a second feature called Max's, and So that's what we're trying to do is try to make our own stories, and then hopefully I'll book a job here and then. To
Let
distract
us
from
know.
that,
We
yeah.
will totally plug it.
Tell them where they can see your more current work. You've done like a movie with RZA and stuff.
Say what?
Oh well, I had a small part in. RZA has is I think he's currently in pro-production for a movie.
Is it
I
the
think
Iron
it's
Fist
still
2?
no. It's called Coco. It's about it's a hip hop love story. I don't know when it'll be coming
Hip
out.
hop love story?
Yeah. It's-
Tell me more.
Well, I mean, the lead is Azealia Banks, and she's she's an aspiring hip hop artist, and she's kind of debating between whether she wants to pursue her dreams or if she's going to go another route.
Nice.
So it's following her journey.
And your character
and my character is one of the I guess
a
one of
DJ in the
no
background.
DJ. It could have been, but one of the hip hop fans who go to her, one of her battles, and we kind of give her shit because she was kind of
Oh, like a proper Filipino-American guy at a hip hop show.
And actually, you mentioned it earlier, but you're also working on a film, right, Elaine?
Yeah,
Since
I'm
we're talking about films right now.
I'm developing a documentary about Filipino-American girls in the sport of short flags and how they have been dominating the sport since the 90s. So at USA Nationals, like in those Bring It On type competitions, the squads that always win in the short flags category, the teams have always been Filipino-American. Specifically from 2 regions. One is Oxnard.
Which is where I'm from,
which is
Ventura
where
County, north of here.
And specifically Channel Islands High School, and the other is the South Bay, so Carson High School, Bishop Montgomery, and a Narbonne. They're like 3 schools that dominate, and the teams always have Filipinos, and they always win.
That's cool.
And no one knows about this except the people who are in it. So Mike grew up with flags.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where
He's
it's
like,
like,
this is dumb. What
Who
are you
wants to make a
talking
documentary about this? I mean, this is just what life is like, right?
But it's
Where
fascinating.
Filipinos are really good at like drill and short flags for some reason, and dance and singing and break.
But like, I don't know.
idea. Yeah,
no
yeah.
idea. And
No
so I was
idea.
like, wow.
I guess it's a regional thing.
Yeah, it's regional, and I was like, there should be a 30 for 30 short about this or documentary. Just talk
Why not?
about this.
Why
so
not?
it's in development, and I need to do a lot more interviews and find more folks and go from there. And I want to my dream scene is that I'm going to cut like a short flag scene, like the girls spinning the flags against like a sink kill like cultural dance scene and be like, look, this is cultural. This is something.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah.
That's my ideal.
Yeah.
If I can pull it off, I'll be happy.
I think there's something to that though, like regional competition, where
Yeah.
it's like if one person in your, because we noticed that theme in our documentary as well. It's like why Daly City was such a prominent like place where all these world famous DJs grew out of, like this one tiny town, and it just seems like if one person is doing something at a phenomenal level, other people that are peers to that
Exactly.
person says, hey, I can do that too. He's no older than me. He's like from the same type of family.
Yeah.
I can compete at that level
I mean,
too.
in Carson, like the beat junkies out here, Carson, right? It's like mostly Carson, South
you know,
Bay, Long
like
Beach,
Orange County.
Orange County.
Yeah.
That's all one area, and they all seem to come out of it.
Wow.
So, like, why?
That's cool.
And yeah,
That's another documentary. But wait a minute, that's one that you're working on. Never
And,
mind.
and I'm just thinking back to the short and just thinking about how, you know, Van was kind of on the outside, kind of looking in for a little while, and thinking about that was kind of my experience when I was growing up. And my cousins were breakdancers.
Yeah.
And I would kind of hang out and watch them. I was like, oh, I could never do that. Just because I wasn't, you know, physically fit enough to even, you know, do any of those moves. And so I got into DJing, thinking I could be good at DJing. And then I realized I wasn't really good at that, really. But then I was really good at buying records and collecting. And so, you know, but I was just thinking about, like, you know, is this something that only exists in, like, our little community of Oxnard, Ventura,
And
Camarillo? Like,
no,
you know,
it's
we know that there's, like, DJs in the South Bay. I didn't really know much about the San Francisco scene at the time until, like, I started learning about DJ Qbert. But yeah, a lot of these movements within our community have always kind of been like, it feels like this small thing until you realize that these small things exist in many places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, someone was asking us, you know, like, Elaine had an interview a day or two ago, and someone was asking her, like, how can you speak to the Filipino-American experience if it's so kind of discrete and so distinct? You know, you might be from a different island, different, you know, ethno-linguistic culture. You know, how do people relate if they're, you know, listening to you from New Jersey or listening to you from other places? And then, like, what we realized is that our different and distinct experiences and our little kind of microcultures and everything else have this thread of just, you know, something that we may not be really definable, but like a short like the one that you guys produced, you know, even if I'm not from San Francisco, even if I didn't know what that was like in the 80s, I just feel like that's my culture. And that's something, that story that I feel like is mine, even if I'm not a part of it, really.
Yeah, and especially because yes, it takes place in Daly City, but the whole feel of it and like just the theme, I was like, I did all those things when I was a teenager because my cousin was a DJ and he had a crew, and like moving milk crates of records from garage to the back room wherever it needed to be was like a task that the whole family apparently needed to do. And I just remember thinking like, oh, I've done that. I did that. I mean, if they had jackets with, and it was screened with like their crew name on it.
Or like satin jackets.
I wanted to do that, but there's no budget for that. I wanted to do that so badly.
I mean, that would have been like hit it on the nose because I mean, I have one of those somewhere. So it's just like, but I'm from the Valley. I'm from the San Fernando Valley, but it happens, you know? So I feel like maybe even on the East Coast and we don't know, like that it probably happened there too, or in Chicago. Like it just.
Houston also.
Yeah.
We talked to
But no, and I think I guess I appreciate the fact that we, you know, have this festival to tell these kind of stories, because I think even in, you know, the grand internet age when everything is kind of accessible, I mean, there's still these pockets of culture that you'll only know about through a festival like this, through films like yours, through these kind of stories. So I really appreciate that you guys really brought that together so quickly and so beautifully. So.
And will you all be in town on May 13th?
Yeah.
On Saturday?
I think so.
From 8 to whenever.
Oh, God.
Because we're having a party at the Park's Finest because this Filipino-American life will turn 1 year old this coming May.
Okay.
And so we'd like to invite you to our party and the listeners to the party, this Filipino Life happy birthday party at the Park's Finest from 8 to whenever. We're going to have food, there'll be drinks,
We'll have Magic Mike karaoke.
We'll have Magic Mike karaoke, allegedly.
I think me and Joel Keyzone will be DJing also. Nice. I told him to bring his greatest OPM hits.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's going to be an amazing
He's got an
playlist.
amazing collection.
Yes, and Mike's going to try to not steal them.
It was very hard for me not to steal
I know.
it, by
It's
the
like,
way.
oh my God, I don't have to go to the Philippines anymore. Just grab these records.
Well, Mike has a tendency of doing that because our landlady, like we.
Hey, okay, you don't have to say it on the
Never mind. I'll tell you
that
off
part out.
mic what that happened. But yeah, come out. It's at the Park's Finest Barbecue in Echo Park. We're gonna have a party.
Cool.
And then,
Awesome.
Sounds great.
to the listeners, if you want to know what's your opinions about mobile DJs or about Asian American filmmaking, let us know. Leave us a message. We're at 805-394-TFAL, 805-394-8325. We plug it in every episode. No one ever calls, but I feel like I need to do it just because I made the effort to make a Google
TFAL
voice
hotline.
message.
Like, who calls anyone? I don't even call you. And
Yeah.
like, okay.
If they could text us, maybe it would work. You can tweet us at TFAL Podcast and like us on Facebook, This Filipino-American Life. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes. It helps folks find us. And yeah, that's about it.
Can I add something?
Yes, plug.
No, it's not really a plug. It's more like an open call to
Yes.
anyone listening who was a part of the scene, who had, who was a party goer or had a DJ crew. We're looking for archival footage, photos, videos, mixtapes of anybody in the Phil-Am DJ scene.
Oh.
So that's what we're looking for.
When we have our party crew episode, we'll get you into that as well.
Yeah.
Because that's going to happen one day, because I already have the guests for that. And so once that happens, that'll be fun. Yeah. All right. And I guess that's it. Mike, do you have anything to sign off on?
No, I think that's.
Are you good? Joe and Ryan couldn't be here. Joe's at a conference. It's Ryan's birthday. He's off in Vegas, I think. Happy birthday, Ryan. You're a jerk for not being here. Joe's excused. But thank you so much for being here.
thank
I
you
hope
so
I
much for
see you
inviting us.
on the 13th, which is like in a couple weeks. So and we're out.
Awesome. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you.
This Filipino-American Life is produced by Michael Nailat. Our intro and outro music is by Roger Habon, aka 10.4 Raj. Resident reality checker Girly Colado, legal advisor Rianne Fajardo, and graphic design by Vincent Collyer.